I will have to try it. Yeah, that's fine.
Hari Om and welcome to all the Atmajyotis and our Brahms to Sadguru Shri Prabhuji. We will be starting with our third session of Ashtavakra Gnana Sindhu group. And we shall begin with the prayer. Purnimaji prayer helbutira.
Oh. नारायण समारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरु परंपराम्। गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्।
Thank you, Purnimaji. So we should begin our session today with Purnimaji's talk first. She will be talking on Vedas. The time is actually, we have given it as 6 to 7 minutes, I guess. 6 to 7 or 5 to 6, Purnima?
6 to 7.
6 to 7. So if everybody can keep a time clock for 6 minutes, at 7 minutes, I will be showing the time as 7. Okay.
Okay.
So here you go, Purnimaji.
Okay.
And the Purva Pakshi for Purnimaji will be Kantiji. So we shall just follow the system, like as soon as the speaker finishes, you go with the self-evaluation, followed by question from the Purva Pakshi, followed by evaluation from Vaniji or Vasuji. Is that okay? So because every time we need not remind the speaker, by the time the speaker finishes, they would be lost in the talk, they will forget to do evaluation. Then again, one person has to say. So we can avoid that today. We shall see how best we can do that. So I can see smile on everybody's face. Here you go, Purnimaji.
Right. So Hari Om everyone. So today the topic is, my topic is Vedas. It can't get more broad than that. So all of us are familiar with this scene. This is Sriman Narayana, who is lying on the Amrita, Kshira Sagara, and you know what, Lakshmi, Brahma, Narayana, they're all doing, they're having a board meeting. And why are they having a board meeting? Because Narayana is bored. He is always in Yoga Nidra. And he's kind of bored. Nothing is happening in the yoga, everything is just stillness, maha boring. So he tells Brahma, hey, you fellow, come here. Why are you there? You give me something interesting to watch in life, okay? In my dream, I want to see something extra nice, something to engage me during my years and years of Yoga Nidra. I want to see something nice. And so that Lakshmi, who is Mahamaya, she is also, they're all servants of Narayana, Brahman. So they said, okay, you want something? Let me give you something. So Brahma says, Brahma creates something for Vishnu's dream, Narayana's dream. What is that? See, this Brahma, little poor fellow, who he doesn't know anybody else in the world other than Brahman, Narayana. So he creates Narayana only in the dream also, in the form of sages who are always meditating on Narayana. All the time they're meditating on Narayana. Again, Narayana says, Arey, what is this dream? Nothing is happening. There is no drama. There is no excitement. Everybody is in, enlightened people, all meditating all the time. No, you give me something else. Brahma, the creator, Brahmaji, he says, okay, fine, let me try something else. And he creates Asuras. Asuras. In this dream or nightmare of Narayana, only asuric tendencies, only tamasic people, all fighting, all kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all the negative tendencies, all the hood of Adishesha is, it represents all that. All the negative tendencies they have. And Narayana says, oh my God, this is very gross. This is very morbid. I don't want this either. Give me something else. Now Brahmaji scratches his head and he says, okay, you tell me exactly what you want. He asks Narayana himself, you only tell what you want. So he says, look, I want, okay, we start with asuric tendency, the very tamasic people. Then people have to progress to, normal, middling, our sorts of middle sort of people who have got both sattva, rajas, tamas, everything they have got. And they're normal people who are going about their normal life, doing the normal things of life. And they kind of get lost in it. But then they realize there is something more to life. And, they start wondering about what is life, what's happening and all that. And finally, in my dream, I want to get enlightened also. You create this kind of dream for me, he says. Brahmaji then thinks. He is not the creator for nothing, right? So he said, yes, I got the greatest idea. I'm going to create something called the Vedas. Because he tells Narayana, look, I can throw you in the dream world, but you need a route to come back to that final stage. Okay? You will get lost in the world of, your own world of tamas, yevo and all that, and you'll forget. So I'll create a user manual for you when you're dreaming. And you have to use that user manual and come back to your original form. This is the game that's happening. Okay. Narayana says, great, good. So I will tell you what all you have to put in this user manual called the Vedas. Okay, what is it? First is, I'll put in a lot of, so the basic purpose of this dream is the dream character has to live a dharmic life. That's the basic. Whether they live or not is a different issue. But in my user manual, I'm going to give them a dharmic lifestyle. So it's called the Karma Kanda. In the Karma Kanda, which is later called the Karma Kanda, I'll put in all sorts of things. You should do this, you should do that. This is how to lead life. This Pancha Yagnas and all the Dharma, Artha, Kama, all that is put into the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. In this user manual called, later came to be called as a Veda. And next we have called something called the Upasana Kanda, in which from mere bodily and physical functions, we go to the mental level and we kind of have bhakti towards Lord and all that. This is very, very briefly because this Vedas is, we are 108 Vedas and all of them thousands of verses long. So we can't go into each and everything what is happening. And this Karma Kanda is also called the body of the Vedas, the body, because the man's body, the physical body, has to be used for Karma Yoga. And in some paramparas, they also call the Karma Kanda as the feet. The whole Veda is the body, it's the feet of the Vedas. And then the Upasana Kanda comes to the mind of the Vedas. And then we have the third Kanda, which is of course the Jnana Kanda, which is the ultimate. And it is also in the Vedanta, it is called the Upanishads. And this is the intellect, it's the head. It caters to the head and it is the final step. It's the last portion of the Vedas. Of course, it's the key to enlightenment, liberation is given in the Jnana Kanda of the Vedas. There's one more categorization of the Vedas. This is more or less the same, but still, the first portion of the Vedas is called the Samhitas. The Samhitas, what they do? They give us these benedictions. Bhadram karne bhishrunuyama devaha sahana vavatu sahana. All these benedictory mantras, Shanti mantras are given in the Samhita portions. And then in the Brahmana portion is again, whatever is said in the Karma Kanda, all the rituals and the pujas and everything is given. All the Nitya Karmas, Naimitika Karmas, Nishiddha Karmas, all that is given. Then in the Aranyaka part of it, the explanation about these rituals is given. The commentary on these rituals is a little deeper. Then, of course, the Upanishad is the whole purpose of life is given in the Upanishads. That's the next part. And then what happens? Narayana is very happy. Oh, it's already 6 minutes. I have to take some more time. Narayana is very happy. He says, okay, I'm going to give all this knowledge directly to the sages who are meditating. Direct. They don't have to study. They'll come equipped. I'll preload all this information onto them. And then, so Brahmaji said, great, but it is such a big body of work. So I'll have to make it into 4. And so he sprouted 4 heads. Okay. And because he cannot come down to earth himself, he sent Vedavyasa. Vedavyasa is called as the splitter of the Vedas. Vyasa means to split. So this Vedavyasa organized the Vedas into 4. So the Rig Veda, which is the oldest and the largest, and it's got 10 mandalas or portions. And the main thing about the Rig Veda is the Gayatri mantra, the famous Gayatri mantra, and the Purusha Sukta is also from the Rig Veda. Then we have the Yajur Veda. I'm running out of time. And then we have the Sama Veda, which is it's a sing-song manner. All the same verses which is found in the Rig Veda is sung in the Sama Veda. And then we have the Atharva Veda, which is for everyday life. All the mantras, all the mantras are given in the Atharva Veda. So we are done. And the Satyameva Jayate, which is in the logo of India's, all the letterheads of the government, the Satyameva Jayate comes from here. There are Upavedas, which I'm going to skip right now. And then Vishnu said, when Pralaya happens, what shall I do? Everything will go away. Then again, should I reinvent the wheel? Then Brahma says, no need. In the Vishnu Purana, it is told that the universe is cyclic. And one cycle of, yuga is called a Manvantara, and it is headed by one Manu. And one Manvantara has got 4 yugas. And the Dwapara Yuga, which happens to the 3rd yuga, in every Dwapara Yuga, Vyasa will be born again. Every Dwapara Yuga, 3rd yuga of the Manvantara, Vyasa will be born. And he will split the Vedas. That is his job. Okay? So in this parampara, in the first Swayambhu Manu, Swayambhu Manu became Vedavyasa in the Dwapara Yuga. In the second, Prajapati became the Vedavyasa in the 3rd yuga. And then Vaivasvata Manvantara, which is now, Vaivasvata has become Vedavyasa, which is nothing but Amsha of Vishnu. And then in the 8th one, which is the forthcoming Manvantara, Ashwathama. Ashwathama, Drona's son, he is going to become the Manu. And how is this Vedas, the wisdom in the Vedas conveyed? Through the Guru Parampara. And our Parampara is from Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam. It is our Shankaracharya, Gaudapadacharya. And then, of course, we have our Narsimha Prabhuji, who has given us the path to liberation through the Vedas. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you very much. Too
Wonderful.
much.
Purnimaji, yeah, past 7 minutes, but anyway, you had to complete that because it would have been an abrupt ending otherwise. It was very good, lovely. Go for a self-evaluation followed by a question from Kantiji.
Self-evaluation is, I wanted to make it interesting. Therefore, I took up so much time in building up the story with all the natak, drama.
It was, in fact, the approach was like a story kind. Even a small child would be with all ears and eyes open to listen to that. It was very good.
But of course, there is so much to tell about the Vedas. So this is a Maha basic information I have given. I don't know, maybe I could have done better.
Kantiji?
Is there any difference between, as you said, the Vedas, each Vedavyasa is born and he segregates the Vedas. Is there difference between the Vedas in different yugas or different manvantaras?
No. It is the same Narayana. It is the same Narayana. Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya, Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave. Same. The whole thing is repeated. It is just history repeats itself. There is no change.
So,
just the name.
What maybe the difference with Kali Yuga? How is it? Is there any difference in Kali Yuga? At least
the transmission might differ, and the grasping power might differ. That's all. But the parampara remains the same. Vedas will remain the same. And because it's in the hands of the Lord himself, there is no loss of the knowledge. It continues yuga after yuga after yuga after yuga. So far, 28 times Vedavyasa has been born, according to Vishnu Purana. Yeah.
It was very interesting, Purnimaji. It was really,
thank you, Kantiji.
You really made it interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kantiji and Purnimaji. And here we go for evaluation from Vaniji or Vasuji. I can see Vasuji.
Yes. So Very interesting angle, Purnima. Very, very nice approach. Kickstart antaralla hange. Very through the story of the dream, and also a lot of Vedanta in the story itself. So that is one, and the classification of the Vedas into two different categories, two different types that you mentioned was very well done. And also each time, the Manvantara aspect you brought in, very detailed presentation. It might be the slip of the tongue. I think in the beginning, while explaining the Vedas, you just mentioned 108 Vedas. It must have been Vedanta or Upanishads, I think.
Oh, right.
Is
Four
that
Vedas. Correct.
more Vedas? So I do understand it might be a slip of the tongue. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing.
Yeah. No, that's
But
a
otherwise went off very well. Of course, like you yourself recognized, it's beyond 7 minutes, but given the topic, I think it for having made it interesting, it is a very, very effective presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vasuji. So we now go to our next speaker, Pratibha. She'll be speaking about Upanishads, and Purva Pakshi is Shravanji. So Pratibha, I think you had joined. The timing will be like 6 minutes. You will be keeping a stop clock. At 6 minutes, you will get that alert on your desktop. And at 7, I will be showing the time. Okay?
Yeah.
You can start.
Hi, Yom. Today I have been given the topic on Upanishads. So I think Purnima ji gave a really very good foundation. I would have given my time for her to continue for the Upanishads as well. She was that interesting. So next part of the, at the end of the Vedas, what Purnima ji told is Vedanta is Upanishads, like coming back to self, coming back to the self, to Narayana. All the dreaming and things are over, and everything is over. Now I have to go back to the self. It's done. All the dreaming, enjoyment, suffering, pain, this, everything is over. Now I'll go back to. This is the topic of Upanishads. Upanishads are called Shrutis from the Narayana himself. It has come as the Shrutis. There are many more Upanishads, but for now, we have found only 108 Upanishads are found. People say it is thousands of Upanishads we have lost. So only 108 are left out. So in that, some main Upanishads are there, which we know right now as Mukti Upanishads. There are many other kinds, Yoga Upanishads and things like that. For us, in our Vedanta study circle and study of what we do, Mukti Upanishads are very important for us. So these are the ones which we are going to study. And I am unable to share screen. So Satyavati ji, I am unable to share the screen. So in that, what our Guruji has told, has explained are some of the Upanishads and their Mahavakyas. I'm just going to explain. So
you can try now.
In Rigveda, yeah, yep, sure. So, Sri Shankaracharya ji has selected some of the Upanishads, main sentences or from the Upanishads. But these are all Mahavakyas that are like Brahma, Prabhanam Brahma from Aitiriya Upanishads in the Rigveda. And I am Atma Brahma from Mandukya Upanishads from Atharva Veda. And Tattvamasi from Chandogya Upanishads from the Samaveda. And Aham Brahmasmi Brahma, like this. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is there are many other Mahavakyas, but only few have been selected for a sample. So what are these Mahavakyas trying to talk about? Mahavakyas are trying to talk about who am I really. When Guruji says, Nanu nanembudu nanalla, Ideha mana buddhi nanalla, Sachidanandatma Shiva nanu nane, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. This is the main topic discussed in Upanishads. What is the style of the Upanishads? All the Upanishads, there is a conversation, a dialogue between the seeker, the student, and the Guru, the Sadguru. So in Chandogya Upanishad, son Aroni and son Shvetaketu is being taught by his own father. So father becomes the Guru here. So he asks a simple question: have you learned such a knowledge, such that if you learn that, everything you have learned? It's like, no such thing. Our ego says, oh, no. I am very well learned. Everything is fine. I'm done. So here starts the real Atmagnana. If I know who am I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am not this intellect. I'm not the memory. I'm not my vasanas. None of those. Then who am I left out? I am that self, that immutable self, that eternal self. That is what I am. So that knowingness, beingness is what is talked in all the Mukti Upanishads. It's a direction given to the people. It's direction given to the student. I think I have missed the clock. Then the next thing that I wanted to talk is why is it relevant for us? When we are suffering, when we get involved in the universe like this, with all of these things, then we'll suffer that hell, that difficulties in our life. So when we know that I am none of these, I am Narayana himself, then there is no suffering. This is all a dream, a maya, we'll get to know. And that's how we can come out of all this dream of maya, in this dream of Narayana himself. This is the relevance for the topic of Upanishads.
Thank you, Pratibhaji. You finished it well within the time. I think you were left with 1 minute and 25 seconds. Thank you. Very good. And now I think you can go for self-evaluation, followed by question from Shravanji.
Self-evaluation. I think I could have added more information and more clarity in what I speak. Maybe I was not that much prepared. The moment I realized that I have to quote some of the Sanskrit verses, my mind got, blank, and I somehow could not get back into it. So by next time, I think I will be doing it.
Yeah, thank you. Shravanji?
Okay. It was a very good attempt, Pratibhaji. I wanted to understand this. Who is qualified to know Upanishads? What is the significance of sequence? Why Upanishads, such an important subject, was given in the last? If Vedas were the rule book, why it was not given upfront?
What I think is Shat Sampati is the basic requirement. In that, Shat Sampati is the Shamadama Ititisha Uparati Shraddha Samadhana Mumukshatva. Mumukshatva will come only when I realized I'm suffering too much. None of it is real. None of it is real. Okay, I keep getting happy. At the same time, at the next moment, I can get sad. So this happiness and sadness is a game. So I want something in between balance, Shanti all the time. So then that clarity will try to say, okay, I can listen to Upanishads. Otherwise, it is just an intellectual game and understanding, okay, this Upanishad I studied, that Upanishad I studied, this I learned. It's still an intellectual game. Like any other scriptures or any other math or science, or, you just go behind and then you are involved into it. but still there is that's how it works. Upanishad is a really active and full action oriented. Right now it has to happen. The moment it is told Shvetaketu Tattvamasi, by the 8th time or 9th time, he's done. He understands the clarity. The clarity has to come, and then it has to be on par. Yes, this is done. But otherwise, it will be listening. Oh, I listened to this. This is fine. Then it will go to the intellectual one. That is also good. But it does not go deeper into it until I am pure in here. I am pure in my heart. So clarity of intellect, that comes in the last, according to the Vedas and things like that at that time. Now Guruji he's building both in part together. That's how things that I have understood.
Thank you. Thank you.
If it is something else, please do explain.
Thank you, Pratibhaji and Shravanji. And we go for evaluation from Masuji.
Yeah, very nice attempt, Pratibhaji. Very good. I think you have explained the Mahavakyas, you brought it up, from the different Upanishads. Also, you included the main work of the Upanishad, what it means, the Jnana part, very well. You did, like you mentioned, you did have some time that you could have added a little more, but otherwise it was good. The only thing that I can probably suggest to you is to maintain the eye contact. And that would give a better, what you call, a connection with the audience. So don't worry about, meaning not don't worry in the sense, I know you can be working on Sanskrit shlokas, but even then...
The moment I get it, I'll just, okay, fine, this plan.
No,
I didn't even read it fully. And
since you had PowerPoint, you could have used it also. So
yeah.
there are ways and means of, just becoming familiar is the first step. If you get familiar, don't put a block to, I can't say shlokas, Sanskrit shlokas in the talk, because the talk itself was very good. You can add that at your pace, but a very good attempt. Then that is that.
Yeah, I took that from Guruji's, in the
correct. Yeah.
The same slide I have taken from him.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nicely explained all the Mahavakyas, presented all the Mahavakyas.
Thank you, Vasuji. So we now move on to our next speaker, Shobhana ji. She'll be speaking on Bhagavadgita for Dharma Sadhana. Shobhana ji, you are keeping a time clock. Yes. Yeah.
So today's my topic is...
You want to share screen?
No, I'm not yet fully prepared for it. My slides are not still...
Do you have any
mark?
Anything to show?
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
I've not yet prepared the slides properly. Like there is still some...
No, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead.
Fine. Yeah. So... Gurubhyo Namaha, Gurupadakabhyam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today's my topic is Bhagavad-Gita for Dharma Sadhana. The song of God, that is Bhagavad-Gita, starts with the word Dharma. Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsavaha. It starts. So here Dhritarashtra asks Sanjaya, what is happening in this Kurukshetra, the Kshetra where war is being fought for establishing Dharma? So, the main concept of Bhagavad-Gita is to actually tell the protagonist of Arjuna what dharma is and how he has to establish himself in dharma. Go on with the life, then making himself available, doing right karma, which will take him towards his moksha. So here in Bhagavad Gita, throughout the text, dharma is emphasized. The sentence which is, the shloka given by Manu, dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. You can see that in every part of Bhagavad Gita, the song of God, Krishna Paramatma goes according to the dharma that has to be established. So what does he do? He chooses Arjuna for revealing the jnana. Why does he choose Arjuna? There were so many Pandavas, but he chose Arjuna because when you look at Arjuna's lifestyle and the way he lived along with his brothers, mother and all, he had a certain discipline. So once here I would like to tell one story where Arjuna goes to Indra Sabha. He is invited there because he went on a conquest and he was returning victorious. Indra called him to Indra Sabha and said, "You take my Atidhya." He goes there and Urvashi, the Apsara, falls in love with him. And she is wanting to be with him and, she asks him for companionship. But Arjuna, being what he was, he says, "You have been one of my ancestors. You have been the mother of Bharata, whose Vamsha I belong to. So my dharma is to follow that, and according to that, I am your son. So this is not on," he says. And Urvashi gives him a shapa, curse. She curses him, saying that you become a transgender, Brahannala. That's how he goes to the Virata Raja Sabha and he teaches dance to Uttara. And these are certain characters of Arjuna which made him the protagonist in this particular Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna Parabrahma is ready to impart the divine knowledge to him. Now, in the physical form, historical form, Mahabharata has taken place. And in Mahabharata, rightly the Bhagavad Gita has been put in there where everybody is ready to fight. And here comes Arjuna and says, "This is adharma. What I am doing is adharma. Going to kill my people, all my kith and kin." And he is very confused. The person who was always a balanced man, looking at his people, and he thinks that he is going to do all wrong things by killing him. So that's when Krishna takes the opportunity and says, now is the time to present him with this knowledge of the universe, entire life of all living beings. So he starts by talking to him about what he is actually, how he has come into this fold and how his karmas have unfolded. And then he goes on to explain what a sadhaka should do to establish dharma, establish himself in dharma, and carry on with his life. So what does he do? He explains it in different stages, starting with karma yoga, then dhyana yoga, going to towards bhakti yoga, and then jnana yoga, wherein dharma is well established and the person understands what dharma is and follows it to the core and follows the discipline, then gets into jnana marga, where his guru comes and holds him by his hand and gets in towards the moksha, self-realization. Thank you. I'll end it here. There's a lot more that I wanted to speak about, but so.
Thank you, Shobanaji. Yeah. You just ended on dot. Yeah, it was a very good talk indeed. And go for self-evaluation, followed by question from Pratibhaji.
Yeah. I wanted to give a lot more explanation about Sadhana Panchaka, which comes in the 13th chapter, 7 to 11 shlokas. And I think I went into too much detail explaining about the Arjuna's story in the Indra Sabha. So that could have been shortened, and then I could have managed the shlokas, talking about the shlokas. And I'm not so good, not still perfect in making these slides and all, which I think I've started learning. And by next session, I think I will be able to do some PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, thank you. That was a very good observation made by you. So, Pratibhaji?
What does Krishna talks about different dharmas? What is the highest dharma and how one can follow that?
Yeah. The highest dharma is Swadharma. He says that follow what is correct in your path rather than going and helping and trying to reach out to others. First, look at yourself, follow the dharma for yourself, make yourself stronger and establish yourself in the dharma first, then thinking of helping and reaching out to others.
What do you mean by establishing yourself in dharma?
Following all the laid down principles which are required to be in the dhyana marga, that is jnana marga, antakarana shuddhi, then external and internal cleaning, then devotion and surrender, complete surrender to your Guru, service to Guru, and then abide by what his vakyas are, living in that and doing the right things.
That is
what is right according to you. Yeah, Pratima.
Okay. That is Satshampati, right? That's
yes.
Okay. And the whole Bhagavad-Gita, okay? The whole of Bhagavad-Gita, first word of Bhagavad-Gita starts with dharma. So, what do you mean by that dharma and kshetra?
Dharma?
Dharma kshetra means what?
Dharma kshetra.
First word means.
Yeah, kshetra is the place where it is happening. Say, my body. So, first we need to look at our own selves and see, cleanse. Cleansing it doesn't mean taking a bath and, washing yourself. No. The cleansing has to happen externally as well as internally. So, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, all these need to be cleansed. And without any expectation, do your duty towards yourself. And then later you can extend. Once you can, say, establish yourself in this routine, discipline, and non-expecting personality, then you can extend yourself and follow the Panchamaha Yajnas and then carry on with Jnanamarga.
Thank you, Shobhanaji and Pratibhaji, for that QA. Vasuji.
Yeah, very nice, Shobhanaji. What was interesting in your presentation was the departure from the popular approach to Bhagavad-Gita, where you actually handled one aspect, which is where you dwelled upon the dharma aspect of Bhagavad-Gita. Also outlined why Krishna chose Arjuna. That was also very interesting. Why not the other four Pandavas? What made Arjuna most eligible? That was an interesting angle too. So I didn't get to know what you missed. So, so only you will know. So it was, I feel, a very interesting angle to present. I've heard other popular angles, which I would not want to influence the upcoming speaker in the Purva Pakshi side on the Gita. So I will refrain from saying what I've heard about the popular angle. But I think the steady flow of your words and you kept time to the dot, all those things make it very interesting and a compelling to listen presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vasuji, for that lovely comments. Yeah, we are getting to hear the different perspectives of all these Vedanta Granthas. Very nice. And our next speaker is Sharavananji. Again, he will be speaking on Bhagavad Gita for Moksha Sadhana.
Yep.
Sharavananji, you have set up a time on the Zoom screen
Yeah,
itself?
so did it show up? Okay, good, perfect.
Yeah, I was seeing that. Very good, very good. For all others also, you please do. And now also you can do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Thank you.
And I would like to share as
Do you
well.
have anything to share screen?
Yeah.
1 second. Wait.
It's more to guide my flow and not as fancy as Purnimaji's.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so you can see it. Yeah, Hari Om all. Pranams to Guruji and to all the Atmajyotis present here. So today I'm going to talk on the topic of Bhagavad Gita for Moksha Sadhana. We just heard for Dharma Sadhana, and I have taken the Moksha Sadhana. So as the game which Purnimaji talked about, where Mahavishnu was bored, right? So basically ended up with this world of Maya created by his own power, right? Where one gets lost in samsara and is suffering and is in a confused state, right? And is going after all different things, material in nature, going after the power and dealing with this multitude of things, right? And guided by this aparavidya of the worldly things for his success. And that's where the teacher has given the manual as well, as Purnimaji said, and that's the manual for the to moksha, to basically go away from this, move from the samsara suffering to the state of absolute bliss, basically by realizing one's own nature, true nature, right? And where realizes that like there is only one, there is no multitude, and there is the only one behind all these multiple, and the knowledge that guides is the Paravidya, right? And we have seen that in many of our talks, the Prasnanatraya, the 3 texts that guide sadhakas towards this, and which is Upanishads, Bhagavadgita, and Brahmasutra. And I will take the Bhagavad-Gita as the text. And even in Bhagavad-Gita, like how in Vedas, the cream, the nectar, the jnana comes at the end. Even in Gita, you can see this at the end in chapter 18. I've taken that chapter 18, where he's explaining about moksha and sannyasa. Right? So the Gita starts with Arjuna in state of confusion, like, hey, you know what, I am the doer, I have to kill all these relatives, friends, teachers, if I have to fight the war, does it make sense? And do I have to do this? And that's where the teaching starts saying, like, who are you? Who is going to kill? Right? And he says that you are not this body, mind, intellect as you think. You are that Atma, the one that's powering all and the only permanent truth. And everything that you see is this appearance, the mithya. Right? And actually this Atma is not the doer as well, it's akarta. And you cannot kill this Atma as well. Like if you're thinking that you are killing, you cannot kill the Atma, and it's abhokta. It doesn't go through any changes, and like it's the same all the time, right? And the bodies are the one that go through all the suffering, and due to their own prarabdha karma, right? So, and what results in prarabdha karma? The actions from the desires lead to this prarabdha karma, which basically takes to the point that, you know what, if I have to do these actions, why not just leave and like take sannyasa, right? And that's where Krishna comes with the explanation on like why one should never run away from the duties. Like if he is a warrior, he has to fight. That is the swadharma, right? And you don't need to leave your swadharma to attain the moksha, the ultimate state. And like example, we have seen stories of the hunter Kannappa Nayanar, where like with absolute devotion, like he used to kill, he used to offer meat, but he was able to attain moksha as well. Right? And when you are doing a swadharma, do it with the prasada buddhi, that like everything that has come is special for you, and not look for others duties. Right? And then he goes on to say what is the right way to do karma, which is actually not renouncing karma itself, but karma phalatyagam, right? And the fruits of the action is what leads to actually chitta shuddhi, right? And how to do karma, right? And you do it in moderation, not less, not more. The focus all throughout is on doing things in sattvic way. It's staying in the sattvic nature. Right? And then he goes on to explain like what contributes to the factors that come in karma, and always the karma is preceded by jnana. And so the importance is like having the right jnana leads to the right karma, right? And always the karma has to be in sattvic way, in a way that like you are able to help others, right? As Guruji says, like jagat hitaya, for the welfare of the society, right? And preceded by the jnana. Again, jnana here we are talking about paravidya, not the paravidya. The paravidya is the one that takes for moksha. And again, if you come back to Guruji's teaching, we say that like atmano moksha, start with the knowledge of the self, right? And do the welfare for the society, right? So that teaching is coming from Krishna here in this, and these lead to clean mind, chitta shuddhi, and like makes one eligible for moksha. And if you see all our activities here, the Vedanta study circle or Gita circle, Satsanga, they all are aligned towards that. And so Krishna concludes by saying like, Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashrami machasara. So much he has said about like how to do, what you should focus on. And the end he says, you know what, leave everything. And like if you're confused that, oh, I have to take care of so many things, I have to do this, that, if your focus can be on me, whatever has happened, I will take care of you from all the sins. Okay, so the highest thing is about surrender, to the absolute Lord with absolute love. Right. So with that, I would like to conclude my talk saying Gita is an effective text for moksha sadhana, and like having Shraddha in this text and the Sadguru's teachings, one will definitely attain moksha for sure. Hari Om.
Thank you, Sarvananji, again on dot.
It was Vande Bharat Express.
Yeah. But yeah, good to see that everyone is able to do it within that 7 minutes of time. Yeah, go for self-evaluation, and I think Shobhanaji will be asking any question.
Okay.
Later.
Yeah, I think I filtered so much. I was focusing on that 7 minutes, and definitely one learning from these talks is like never get into the trap of story. Like always like to tell stories, but then like it takes its own sweet time. I just felt that like I don't know if I was able to hold everyone. I felt I was going fast. That's the only thing I felt very conscious about. Yeah. Otherwise fine. It was nice preparing for this talk. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone was actually attentive and focused on what you were saying.
If you even breathe, like you would have missed my points.
Yeah. So Shobhanaji?
Yeah.
Yes. Sarvananji, why is surrender so important in moksha sadhana?
Yeah, so the more one holds on, it is the ego that is standing out. And as long as there is ego, there is separation. And the whole philosophy of Advaita is the oneness. And the one that is in between the oneness is the ego. Right? So at the end, the surrender is where like it's actually the ego, the impure one is the one like which finally gets refined and disappears. Or like Vijayji in our classes gives the salt doll example, right? You go to the salt doll goes to the ocean, and once it's in done. You have become one. You become one with the Supreme. I cannot go and say that I have won. In this case, you lose. You lose to win.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarvananji and Shobhanaji for that QA. Vasuji?
Yes, Shravananji, another interesting angle from Bhagavad-Gita, from moksha angle. You got it out very nicely. How finally Krishna talks about surrender and why surrender is the ultimate thing. In the final chapter, you got out the initial conflict that Arjuna was before starting the war, and how towards the end in the 18th chapter, the Krishna concludes about this moksha, the path, how to attain moksha, the secret of surrender. Very nicely presented. I think one other highlight is that you completed on time. I think you have mastered the art of timekeeping on Zoom. That may be this reason, but yeah, I did feel that you were conscious about time, but otherwise, looking at that again, only one other thing: if you relax and maintain eye contact, it will be a better connectivity with the audience. But otherwise, content-wise, delivery-wise, it was all good. Don't worry. At times, if you pace, everybody will pace when they fall short, thinking that time is running out. That is a natural action. The toughest thing is to deliver the talk in a limited time.
Yes.
If we give 1 hour, it is quite easy to deliver the same with a lot of details and stories. So very well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Masuji and Saravanan-ji. Yeah, I think by next session, everyone will get used to it. And I think this is a very good method for timekeeping. Initially, because this is the first session, seeing the time on the screen, you may miss that eye contact. I think by next session, everyone, I think we can apply this to all other JJ sessions also. Alva, Purnima, this is very good actually. Very nice. Thank you. So we now go for our next speaker, Shravanji. He will be touching upon the Nyaya Darshana. Actually, we missed him in the last session. So he'll be giving his talks on Nyaya Darshana, and Purnimaji will be asking question post that. Shravanji, do you want to share screen?
Yes, I want to share.
Yeah, 1 second. Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, you can start.
going to be a great presentation PPT, but nevertheless, I'll just wait. Okay. Okay. So, Hari Om, everyone. 1 minute. Let me start my local watch. I don't know how to put it on the Zoom. Okay. Hari Om. So, we are going to talk about Nyaya Darshana. Now, you know, in Indian philosophy, long before this Westerners tried to talk about science, logic, and epistemology, ontology, and all that, even before they even knew these concepts, it was there in India. And it is 3,000 years ago. In fact, the people who date this to 3,000 years, that's around 550 BC or 600 BC, is because the texts were supposed to be seen on that, but the aspects of this were already there. Nyaya is very basic in every philosophy of India. And some later stages like yoga and Sankhya were referred even by Sri Krishna, who's supposed to be at least 5,000 years before. So the dating of this is not our interest, but what we want to really see in this is what is the core of philosophy in India is not to think and not to formulate, but to see. Darshana means to see, to actually understand, logically perceive, either with the eye or with the intellect, and provingly seeing it, just like today's science. How we want to see with an eye for proving it. This is how the basic Indian philosophy always had been. It's been darshana. So of that, Nyaya is in fact the basic realism. So Nyaya is called realism, logical realism. That means we are trying to look at reality from a very logical perspective. So that is the idea of Nyaya Darshana. This was basically today available for us from a sage called Gautama. They date him around 550 BC. But this is a book of 528 sutras. Sutras are very succinct way of putting things, which means only after everything is clearly known, very highest propounded person can actually put it in succinct ways of putting things. Like Yoga Sutra, you cannot add or remove anything. Everything is perfect. Like that, all these darshanas were in sutras, and Nyaya Sutra talks about how this whole reality is actually very logical. It may not be, there are several other logics, but the logical part of it came first from Nyaya Sutra. Before that, all darshanas actually talk about four things. That is, what is that? What we know already in Vedanta about Jagat, about Ishvara, about Jiva, and finally about Mukti. Okay? So all darshanas. Now, what we see is how Nyaya Darshana looked at this. How did it look at creation? What is Ishvara? What is Jiva? And what is Mukti? By the way, some of the aspects of Nyaya Darshana are very similar to Vaiseshika. So I have not taken time to show which is of what when it is common. So Nyaya Darshana's whole point is to understand what is reality. What is reality? Reality is what not just appears, but what is to be known. So reality consists of prameya, something that has to be known. Now, at that time, what they said is this reality consists of many aspects. So they said it consists of soul, suffering, freedom, body, senses. Remember, this is the very oldest logical way of saying things. But they said reality is of multiple aspects, but all this reality is only possible if there's an Ishvara who is actually controlling this reality. So Nyaya Darshana says there is an Ishvara who actually manipulates with this reality. He is reality. Whatever objects that are there, prameyas, they're also reality. And he manipulates this for the sake of soul. Soul is also a reality. So Ishvara is seen as a nimitta matra. That means he is not the upadan, is not upadana karana, is only nimitta karana. He is not part of the creation. Creation is not coming from him. He is separate from creation. He creates. That is the idea of Nyaya Darshana. Now, in Nyaya Darshana, the very important, everybody knows there are 4 ways of pramanas. These prameyas, the reality can be known through 4 ways. That is prachaksha, direct, anumana by inference, upamana by comparison, and shabda by testimony of somebody who had done already previous research. Right? But Nyaya Darshana says you cannot, some things are invalid. Memory, something that's coming from a memory, smriti, is invalid. That is, don't take it as reality. Anything that has doubt, samasya, anything that is in error, which is in Brahma, or any hypothetical argument is not reality. So these are followed very, very strictly in every other thing. Nyaya Darshana is also known for epistemology. Now you see a lot of this talk and you get a feeling that entire epistemology is actually a product of the West, but no. Nyaya is the first epistemological thing. What it talks about, how to bring out an argument. And today, if you look at a court, you will have a lawyer who is talking about to prove something, and an opposition lawyer trying to challenge and find faults with the other one. Typically, Nyaya gives all these things. It talks about what are the things that proving methods should deal with. It should deal with samasya, it should deal with prayojana, the aim. It should show examples, drishtanta. It should have a clear doctrine, which is siddhanta, and tarka, nirnaya, everything that you see from a proper logical build-up. And it also explains, see, what are the wrong things that can be done. You can have vada, which is only an argument, or jalpa, which is just argument to win, not for a real purpose, or vitanda, vitanda vada, they say. Hetva bhava, which means there is no fact at all, or very clever way of saying things, jati, or trying to take a false analogy, or trying to argue in a self-defeating way. So these are all the negative things. Nyaya beautifully brings about how to bring in valid knowledge and how to recognize and identify and throw away the wrong knowledge. So what does Nyaya, actual reality, it shows? What it says is the world is real and the world is made of 5 elements. What are the 5 elements? We all know that. But it is also made of 5 non-physical entities. So, and it says, we already told, God is only nimitta karana. So that way, it negates the Satkaravada, which is what, today Vedanta says that everything came from Sat. It doesn't say nothing, everything came from only one aspect called Sat. So it says that's not true. And this is God is intelligence beyond creation, because Jiva does not have intelligence. All the intelligence belongs to God. and jivas are infinite, but they're also on the same level of same indestructible as God, but separate, distinct. They're very limited. God is unlimited. But most importantly, what Darshana propounded, and it continues in all other things, is the practice of knowing it. It has proposed for the first time the famous Sravana Manana Nididhyasa. This is first proposed by Nyaya Darshana. So Nyaya Darshana talks about the way we should be able to look at the reality in a way we can understand, assimilate, negate proper things, remove errors, and try to know what is logically true. So that is a brief understanding of Nyaya Darshana. Hari Om. So let me do my self-evaluation. I don't know if I've overshot. I did overshoot one minute in spite of trying to rush through, but this is one thing that I've seen is that to make such topics interesting, you need to think about them quite a lot. But it is interesting if you really understand the times at the time and the reason why all this has been brought about. So I thought I'll give that rather than try to bring up good PPT. I'm sorry, the PPT is only a quick thing for me, but I can share it with you if you are interested. So thank you.
Thank you, Shravanji. Yeah, a lot of information contents to give within 7 minutes. It's really tough, but you were able to do it just by overshooting for a minute or so. So that's really good. I think you can stop screen sharing, Shravanji. So Purnimaji, do you have any questions for Shravanji?
First of all, the subject is it's very, very new to most of us. For me also, it's very new. So I got a lot of information from Shravanji's.
Please do share the PPTs on the group, Shravanji.
Sure, I will do that.
I wanted to ask, what's the difference between one major difference between Advaita Vedanta and this Nyaya Darshana?
The major difference is reality is fractured and seen as perceived by normal logical way, and it does not give lot of importance to Shabda Pramana, the last Pramana. It does take, but not from the reality. So that is why Vedanta says everything is one, that is at the highest level. Whereas here they stop at this fractured way because they wanted to focus on Nyaya. In fact, unless Nyaya was there, Vedanta was not possible. Today, the way Prabhuji is giving so much of importance in prakriyas, in trying to understand, is using this Nyaya. Nyaya is at the core of most of the teaching of all other philosophies. So this built up that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shravanji. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Purnimaji and Shravanji. And I think Shravanji wants to say something.
Yeah, I just have one question. You said God is only Nimitta Karana and not Upadana Karana. But I had understood as Brahman is both Nimitta Karana and Upadana Karana, because when you say it is not, then it becomes the material is separate from the creator. So
that is the Nyaya. This Advaita, which we are talking, everything is just Brahman, is the Vedantic Vedanta Darshana. Whereas Nyaya, even Sankhya, which is what Krishna talks about, there are at least two realities, Purusha and Prakriti. Now, even this Purusha and Prakriti are one, is the concept that has, as it progressed in Vedanta, it was proposed. But in Nyaya, there are 16 realities, which came down to 9 in Vaisheshika, which came down to 3 in yoga, and if finally in Sankhya there are only two, and only Vedanta talked about one reality.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
as per Nyaya, there are two. Okay.
as per Nyaya, because they wanted to, there is a first time they're actually doing an experimental way of looking at reality.
Okay.
Now we are in the Vedanta Darshana is a perfect way of looking at it. Everything is explained. But this is the first Darshana in which the focus was on logic, but not on the end result and fitting everything together. So they just left it as it is. That's why there were scope for other darshanas.
Thank you. Got it.
Thank you, Shravanji. Here we go for evaluation from Vasuji.
A wonderful presentation, Shravanji. So beautifully presented. The structure of Nyaya with the 4 types of proofs for knowledge, and also the pitfalls of wrong types of knowledge or argument. So beautifully put and very neatly explained about the difference between Nyaya Shastra in terms of reality vis-a-vis the other darshanas. 16 realities to 9 to 3 to 2 to 1. That's wonderfully said. The only thing, again, a slip of the tongue, I think, I think the third way of presenting the Nyaya was Samasya. You said it must have been Samshaya, doubt. So that it was written correctly as Samasya, but pronounced Samshaya twice. So it must be just the slip of the tongue.
Yeah, it was Samshaya. Sorry. Samasya is somewhere else. This is Samshaya. You're right, sir.
So
thank you, Vasuji.
Did I say the reverse? Did I say the reverse? Doubt is Samshaya, and
doubt is Samshaya.
I might have also reversed it.
Samasya is the
but very doubt, right? Yeah. So, but very well structured talk, a lot of details encapsulated in these in this limited time. Very well done. It can be a good reference for future, based on Nyaya, like Purnima ji said. It's a new topic even for me, an unexplored topic. So you made it easy for me and probably several others in the group today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Vasuji. Yeah, we were all actually looking forward in the previous session itself. What is he going to talk about Nyaya Darshana? So it came out very beautifully too. So we go to our last speaker of the day, Kanti ji. She will be speaking on Brahmasutra, the 3-Vedanta Grantha. Let us see how she is going to condense it to 7 minutes. And yeah, the timer also display on the screen, Kanti ji. You can have a look at it. You can start, Kanti ji.
The timer is not yet displayed. Will it?
Yeah, actually, even I was looking for the timer. Where is the timer? You all have to see.
It was. Now it's
now it has started. Yes. Oh, is it just 6 minutes? It's not 7 minutes, is it? 7. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't see that. Thank you.
Hari Om to all. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitaha magradha kasya svidam. With the blessings of Guruji, let me start with a question. Why are we here on this earth? Why are we born? Why do we die? What is the purpose of life? And now we all, the Atmajyotis, know that the purpose of life is mukti. To attain that, on what basis do we have to learn or unlearn in our life is, let me share my screen. The three pillars of the Sanatana Dharma, the Prasthanatraya, Upanishads, Bhagavadgita, and Brahmasutras. We should know Upanishad and Bhagavad-Gita, and then Brahmasutra is given the last, because it is for the intellectuals who have known very well what Upanishad and Bhagavad-Gita says. So the three pillars of Sanatana Dharma are Upanishad, Bhagavad-Gita, and Brahmasutra. Who has written this Brahmasutra? He is none other than Vedavyasa, who is also called Badarayana. See, this is two of the Brahmasutras, that is Athato Brahmajjignasa, and the second one is Janmadhyasya Yataha. It looks so simple, just one sutra with two words. Isn't it so simple, but very cryptic? For this to be understood, the great people, the great philosophers like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya have written bhashya or the commentary about this. So, at least I am in such a position, and we people are in such a position wherein we cannot understand even the Shankaracharya's bhashya. So, our Prabhuji has come into picture and to grace us all with the understanding made very simple. This is what is the sutra, and it has 555 sutras in Brahmasutra. And it is categorized as adhyayas, padas, and adhikaranas. How is it done? As Shravanji was saying, it is a nyaya. That is, Purva Paksha raises the objections and the Siddhantis make the doctrines, or they make the Siddhanta out of this. It is based on that. What does it deal with? We have the Shankaracharya Bhashya that was been beautifully taught to us by Guruji. The nature of Supreme Brahman. Then the highest self of the individual soul and the universe. Their interrelations. It gives the hints on meditation on Brahman. So this is what is about Brahmasutra. It also says that the knowledge of Brahman gives mukti. It highlights not only how the creation came from Brahman, but also how Brahman himself is part and parcel of the creation. So it is the entire teaching of Upanishads, or it is the teaching of Brahman that we have to know from this Brahmasutra. The outermost, the innermost self is the infinite self. Our innermost self is the infinite self, that is Tad Aham Brahmasmi and Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. So here we can know that it is the Brahmasutra which is at the highest order in the Prasthanatraya. And how we have to understand is we have to raise up to such a level so that we can understand the essence of Brahmasutra, which has been made very simple by Guruji's teachings. So this is what is Brahmasutra. introduction, or maybe it is just one drop or point in a straight line, or one drop in an ocean. And this is the beginning. And a small story is also there. I'll end with that. Just I have 40 seconds left. It was Vachaspati Mishra who wrote Brahmasutra for 12 years. Just the next, he started the day he married, started writing the Bhashya. And he took 12 years to write that. And at the end of the 12 years, he came out and he just saw some lady there in his house. And he didn't know that it was his wife. Who are you? He asked. And it was his own wife. And he just asked, I have seen a hand coming and serving me the plate of meals and cleaning and putting the oil for the lamp, but I haven't seen you. You just show me your hand. Then I can know who has served me the food. And he took sannyasa the next day of the finishing of Bhashya of Brahmasutra. And he says that it was his great, it was the great sacrifice of Bhamati. His wife's name is Bhamati, and he starts, he dedicates that book, the Bhashya of Brahmasutra, to Bhamati, and Bhamati's school of philosophy begins like that. Hari Om, thank you.
Thank you, Kantiji. Self-evaluation.
Self-evaluation is that I felt that it was too vast, and to concise it to what is the essence of Brahmasutra, I found it a little difficult, because I had to read so much of it from so many places, and what to take, what not to take, what to tell, what not to tell was something that was really difficult for me. I asked Vaniji also as to what is to be done with this topic, and she also helped me in preparing. This is my self-evaluation that I can say.
Thank you. And I think Sarvananji, have any question to Kantiji?
No, even I have not got into this, and yeah, it's I know it's a very big book, big topic. Yeah, I hope to touch that very soon.
Yeah. So we go for evaluation from Masuji.
Yeah, I think the Purnahuti, the last one by Kantiji, was very nice, final, well presented. I know Brahmasutra is a very difficult text, but then you did a wonderful job on what Brahmasutra presents, what it's trying to convey, the supreme self, the Brahman, and the Jagat, and the relationship between the three entities. Very well got out. Also a good attempt on the PowerPoint presentation as well. The introduction and also the conclusion was good. Of course, I think you might have felt the shortcoming, but it is very difficult to say. However much is said, there will be much more. But what you said was, I think, a capsule complete in itself. So don't really look for, I could not say this, I could not say that. That of course, it's good to feel a sense of lack for improvement's sake next time. But I'm not able to make out what you missed. Again, wonderful presentation, Kantiji. Thank you so much.
Can I ask one question to Kantiji? It was a wonderful presentation here.
Your voice is breaking, Purnimaji. Not able to. Not able to hear you, Purnimaji.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
No. Okay. many acharyas have written bhashyas on the Brahmasutras. What is the name of the bhashya written by Shankara on the Brahmasutras? It's written bhashya, and it's got a particular name. Yeah.
I don't know, Purnimaji.
No,
I never knew that there was a name given.
It is called Adhyasa Bhashya.
Oh, okay. So that is only for Shankaracharya's.
Many acharyas have written.
Uh-huh.
Shankaracharya's Bhashya is called the Adhyasa Bhashya.
Oh, okay.
And because there was a seminar on Adhyasa Bhashya in the Jnana-Jyoti, I particularly asked.
Okay. Thank you for enlightening me with that.
Thank you, Kantiji, Purnimaji. Actually, when Purnimaji asked this question, I thought Kantiji, when during her PPTs, she was showing Shankara Bhashya. So I thought she will quickly look into that and read the name.
No, I don't think it was. Adhyasa was there.
It was not there.
It's
I don't know,
not there.
because it was very small font. I couldn't make
He
out.
just said Shankara Bhashya.
Yeah. So
Hey, by
thank
the way,
you.
before we forget, yeah, you can stop and then I want
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Wait 1 second. We'll end this and then have. Thank all the speakers. A very good presentation from all new information coming up in that condensed time and all that. And very heartfelt thanks to Vasuji for his beautiful evaluation. It was really good. And I think motivation for all the speakers again. So we shall end with a prayer and then we'll just have a little discussion on this. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyorma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Lokaha samastaha sukino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukino bhavantu. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Guru Charanarpanamastu.